What happens when a single magnet sparks a storm of chaos in a quiet store? HOA stormed into Tech Trend Innovations, her face a mask of fury, clutching a small, cracked magnet in her fist. The store, a haven of orderly shelves and humming gadgets, froze as her voice cut through the air like a siren. "This magnet is defective," she bellowed, slamming it onto the counter. Customers flinched, and the cashier, a young woman named Mia, blinked in shock. HOA demanded a refund, her words dripping with entitlement, claiming the magnet failed to hold her fridge notes. The accusation hung heavy, but the truth was far murkier than it seemed. Mia, with her practiced calm, inspected the magnet. Its surface was marred with deep scratches, edges chipped like it had been hurled against a wall. "Ma'am," she said, voice steady, "this looks like it was damaged after purchase. Our policy doesn't cover misuse." Hoa's eyes narrowed, her voice rising to a screech. "Are you calling me a liar? I bought this junk yesterday, and it broke. I want my money back, or I'll make sure everyone knows how terrible this place is." The threat landed like a grenade, and heads turned. Mia, unflinching, gestured to a security camera above. "We can review the footage if you'd like, but the damage here isn't from a defect." Hoa's face reddened, but she doubled down. She spun to the growing crowd, waving the magnet like a war banner. "This store scams people. They sell garbage and refuse refunds." Whispers rippled through the onlookers. Some nodded, others frowned. A man in a suit, browsing nearby, muttered about leaving a bad review. The tension thickened, and Mia felt the weight of her job on her shoulders. She wasn't just defending a store policy. She was defending the truth against a tidal wave of outrage. But then came the twist. An older woman, Mrs. Tran, stepped forward from the crowd. She'd been quietly shopping for a phone charger, but now held up her own magnet, identical to Hoa's, purchased the same day. "Mine works perfectly," she said, her voice cutting through Hoa's tirade. She demonstrated, sticking it to a metal display with a satisfying clank. "Maybe you dropped yours? These are strong magnets." The crowd's murmurs shifted, eyes darting between HOA and Mrs. Tran. HOA faltered, her narrative cracking, but she wasn't ready to back down. The confrontation escalated as HOA, now cornered, turned her wrath on Mrs. Tran. "Mind your own business, old lady," she snapped, snatching a display of magnets from a nearby shelf. In a fit of rage, she hurled it to the ground, sending dozens of magnets skittering across the floor. Gasps erupted. Mia signaled for security, but before they arrived, HOA grabbed another display, toppling it with a crash that echoed like thunder. The store descended into chaos. Customers stepped back, a child cried, and magnets rolled under shelves. Hoa's actions weren't just a tantrum. They were a deliberate sabotage, a desperate bid to shift blame. Mia, now joined by her manager, Tom, stood firm. Tom, a burly man with a no-nonsense demeanor, held up his tablet, already streaming the security footage. The screen showed Hoa's purchase the previous day, but more damning was footage from earlier that morning. Hoa, in the parking lot, slamming the magnet against her car door in frustration when it wouldn't stick to her non-magnetic fridge. The crowd watched in stunned silence as the truth unfolded. Hoa's face drained of color, her bravado crumbling like the broken magnets at her feet. "You did this to yourself," Tom said, his voice calm but unyielding. "We won't refund a product you intentionally damaged, and you'll need to pay for the displays you destroyed." HOA opened her mouth to protest, but the crowd's mood had shifted. The man in the suit, who moments ago seemed ready to side with her, shook his head. Mrs. Tran crossed her arms, her quiet strength a stark contrast to Hoa's unraveling. Security arrived, escorting HOA to the back to discuss damages, her shouts fading into humiliated mumbles. The store slowly returned to normal, but the air buzzed with lessons. Mia, wiping sweat from her brow, res-tacked the scattered magnets, each one a small victory for truth. Mrs. Tran, now a hero in the eyes of the staff, offered a kind smile and bought her charger, leaving with a quiet dignity. The crowd dispersed, some whispering about Ho's outburst, others reflecting on their own assumptions. The incident wasn't just about a magnet, it was about accountability, about how one person's lies could ripple outward, only to crash against the weight of evidence. In the end, HOA faced more than a denied refund. She was banned from the store and invoiced for the damaged displays, a costly reminder of her actions. Mia and Tom, though shaken, found strength in standing their ground. The store's reputation held firm, bolstered by the truth and the unexpected ally in Mrs. Tran. Life moved on, but the story lingered, a cautionary tale about the price of deceit and the power of integrity. What do you think? Where do you draw the line between standing up for yourself and crossing into chaos? Share your thoughts below.